What's going on, party people? Welcome back to Ration Nerd. Today we are going to get into this Russian mountain ration. This is a big ass ration. I'm excited about it. I've only ever had one of these before. These are not easy to get. They're not easy to get into the country intact, and they are not easy to get in date. So I'm pretty excited about this. Hopefully we won't get stale ass Russian crackers, but we'll see. Everything else in this box should be relatively rocking. We're going to crack into this guy. We're going to see what's inside of this. I'm pretty excited for this guy. Cool camo packaging. I translated this, so I should relatively be able to do the unboxing of this thing without too much shenanigans, but you know how translators go. They're not always that great. This is menu number 2, and this thing is rocking out at 5,102 calories. Holy shit, that's a lot. So if you were eating a standard diet, that's like 2.5 days worth of calories. But in the mountains, where this thing is designed for, cold climate, and well, if you're climbing around the mountains, you're going to need a heck of a lot of calories. This certainly has it in there, provided that everything is edible. Let me shut up and get into this. So this has a Ziploc on the bottom. We're going to give that a go, without a doubt. Oh yeah. Ooh, that was very nice. Very nice. I do like the fact that I get to keep this more or less intact. I'm pretty positive the Russians gave zero shits about the fact that I wanted to keep the bag, and that is not why this is designed this way. But it does have a pretty cool resealable Ziploc down here, so that's pretty awesome. And this thing was under a nice hard vacuum, so that's always good too. And of course this big ass box does not want to slide past the Ziploc. There we go. So I'm thinking that Ziploc closure on the bottom probably wouldn't do you a whole lot of good unless you took everything out of the box. I have a feeling we're going to need some room. All right. Yeah, so we have flameless ration heater number 1, flameless ration heater number 2. The Russian flameless ration heaters generally work really well. So starting right out, we got that epic Russian apple butter. We have 3 drink mixes, which are vitamin drink mixes. So we will have to see what flavor these are as we make them, because I have never seen a Russian drink mix that accurately describes the flavor on the packaging. But that is cool. I really do like the Russian drinks. I'm glad we got 3 of them in here, so that's pretty awesome. This is a rice soup with meat, which is, well, I'm not really sure how to feel about that right now. Rice soup with meat. And this translated to Pearl bargain soup with meat. I'm not really sure what a bargain soup is. That kind of worries me. If I'm not mistaken, this is the rice and raisin breakfast porridge. I could totally be wrong though. Russian is a really hard language to read even when you're seeing it on a translator. So we have some disinfectant towelettes. You get 2 pairs of those. One of each of these is going to be for hands. The other one is going to be for silverware, the way I understand it. So that's always nice, getting some cleaning supplies. And as with any Russian ration, you get a good bit of sugar. Here is 60 grams of sugar, which you really can't complain about, especially if something in the ration isn't so tasty. This is going to be our fruit bar. I've had one of those before. I'm really looking forward to that guy. That is just a little guy. Let's see how many of these little guys we have. So we have 3 of these little midget spoons. Not very high in quality. I don't expect these to last very long. Cool color, but teeny little spoons. You get 3 of them though. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars of Russian dark chocolate, which excites me because these dark chocolate bars are really good. Not really sure if these are real chocolate, fake chocolate. Don't really know. Don't really care. These dark chocolate bars are absolutely excellent. So here we have some canned meat. So there's a little strange meat product for you. We have our Russian windproof, waterproof matches, which are always really good. We have this nifty device for opening bags, and I've heard people on other reviews talk about this being used as a weapon. Yeah. Okay. So We have this thing for opening bags. We have your standard Russian blister pack of 3 Esbit fuel tabs and itty bitty stove. That's always nice. We have a really excellent package of chocolate hazelnut spread. Love this stuff. Have had it before. Excited to have it again. Going to really enjoy that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packs of Russian crackers. Please, cracker gods, don't let these be stale this time. It'd be great if these crackers were not stale. We have some processed cheese, which is always nice. And here we have some rice and beef kasha, which I hope this isn't as dry as the stuff I had in that Sturm ration, but we shall see. We have another canned meat product that feels kind of squishy. You gotta like the weird Russian meats. I kind of like them, I know, but I'm a little weird, so. And then we have pasta. And let me tell you what, I've had Russian pasta before. It is not that great. So I'm thinking we're gonna do the pasta for lunch, save the rice and beef kasha, even if it is a dried out mess, and maybe chuck some, well, whatever. We'll get into that later. We have some cheesy napkins. Poor Special Forces mountain guys with their cheesy napkins trying to wipe a booger out. You're not wiping your butt with that. I mean, you might just get some kasha off your face with this. This is a shame. Just a shame. Shame on you, Russia. We have some salt and pepper, which is always nice. You're definitely going to need it if that kasha is as dry as the one I had before. We have a couple of excellent Russian tea bags, which are always good. Water purification tablets, that's always a necessity. And I'm only seeing 1 pack of coffee in this ration, and no creamer. And this is a salty ration nerd right here. Like, the Russian coffee is really good, and I'm excited to get the Russian coffee. I'm super pissed that there's no creamer. Let me double check the box, but I'm feeling like I got gypped on the creamer. I'm getting tired of getting gypped on the creamer. Totally got gypped on the creamer again. I gotta find somebody in the Russian government to write their asses. Anyway, so this is everything that's inside of Russian Mountain Ration. I really hope this is 5,000 calories of Russian goodness. We won't know until we crack into this. I am going to have to get breakfast out onto a tray. Not really sure what I'm in the mood for breakfast, but we're going to figure it out. I will see you guys in a minute. All right, we are back with breakfast. So basically what we're going to get into this rice porridge. We're going to have some crackers with some hazelnut spread. We have our coffee, tea, and vitamin drink over here, a fruit bar. We have some Russian mystery meat and a chocolate bar. So before we do anything, we are going to get this rice into the tray. Looks like there could be a little bit of milk powder in there. And like four whole raisins. So we're going to get this stuff hydrating. We're just going to eyeball it. I know this totally is not an exact science. That's probably a lot of water for a little bit of rice, but rice usually sucks up a good bit of water. Looks like we might be having rice soup if I really screwed that pooch, but we'll see. Get that nice and mixed up in there and give this rice porridge some time to rehydrate. Normally you would definitely do this in a mess cup. You're absolutely not doing it in that little plastic package, because that is just a plastic package, not foil lined or anything. So inside the package, I don't think that's the greatest idea ever. Hydrate, hydrate, oh wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 raisins. I was wrong. 5 raisins, not 4. Now that that is out of the way, we've got your standard Russian black tea, but to be fair, I am saying that it's standard, but you know what? It's good tea, so I have no issues with that. I'm a little salty that I only got 1 coffee, no cream. I'm feeling a little butthurt, a lot butthurt, if I'm being honest. Absolutely just pisses me off. So you can make a nice healthy glass of tea and a little baby cup of coffee. And at this time in the morning, that's not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear a little baby cup of coffee. I want to hear big ruckus monster coffee bucket. But we are not getting the coffee bucket. We are getting this little baby cup of coffee. So we have one of these big honking bags of sugar. Put a little in the tea. Put a whole bunch in the coffee. Now having had this before, it's generally not very sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this up before it even gets going. and toss some sugar in there, which may help with the... Actually, it doesn't look like I put too much water in there. It actually looks like I did all right. And we have this Russian vitamin drink, which probably will be yellow. I'm not 100% sure. Sometimes they're cherry, but this looks like it's going to be the yellow flavor, which actually tastes kind of floral. I'm really into the Russian drinks. They're actually very good. The yellow Russian drink is definitely one of those ones that you do not want to smell while you're drinking it because it smells a lot like B vitamins. And that Russian spoon is about pitiful, and there's no way it's going to assist me in mixing this drink, so we're going to have to bring in some help. And you know what time it is. It has to be the first thing you do in the morning. If you're not doing this first thing in the morning, there's something wrong with you. You're broken. You need to fix yourself. We are going to get a sip of this pretty excellent Russian coffee. It's coffee time. That is nice and robust, sweet because of the sugar, slightly acidic, very robust coffee flavor. If you're a coffee drinker, you would really enjoy this. Bastards with the no cream shit. Anyway, let's get a little taster of this tea. This tea is generally better after it steeps for a little while, but this is a pretty strong, pretty basic black tea, and it is very good. Absolutely. If you like tea, this is definitely a good tea for you. It's not the most complex flavored tea, but it is a very robust, very strong tea flavor. That is good. Your mileage may vary with the coffee and tea. Everybody's different. So let's give this rice porridge a little stir. That's actually looking pretty thick and healthy. Not too bad at all. Very, very small portion. Let's check out this fruit bar. These fruit bars are generally pretty amazing. These are just some smashed fruit and grains and nuts just compressed into a bar. These are generally really good. Come on, cracker gods. You don't want to feed me stale crackers today. You want to give me some nice fresh crackers. I think we're busted. Let me get a taste of one of these. They smell pretty stale. Of course, that pack could be fresh. That pack could be stale. That's the randomness of Russian crackers. Just doesn't fail. And we got some stale-ass crackers. That is not surprising in any way, shape, or form. One thing I don't want to forget, though, is I got this Russian mountain ration from my buddy on eBay. I will put his name up here. I will also put his name in the description of the video. If you type that name into eBay and hit search, you will come up to his page. He will have rations. They will be good. Every ration I've gotten from him has been awesome. They're inside the United States, which means they're not going to get raided by customs. So that's always awesome. Customs is not always awesome. So anyway, back to this second pack of crackers. Let's see if Russian randomness strikes again, and we got some not stale crackers. That would be pretty epic. All right, let's see what we get here. And as is very typical with Russian rations, this pack of crackers is even more stale than that pack. So again, Russian cracker randomness strikes again. So I guess, yes, we did get 2 levels of freshness so far. Not so fresh and really not so fresh. So yeah, I'm kind of used to this taste of stale Russian crackers at this point, so I don't really care. I've had some really, really stale Russian crackers to the point where you couldn't even eat them. These are not there, so we are absolutely going to need this chocolate spread here in a moment. But I want to get this Russian mystery meat out onto the tray, see what we're working with in the dog food department, the mystery meat department. Okay, that just looks like minced beef. That is not what I was expecting. We really, really, really need to master technology so we can get smell-o-vision going on, because that smells like dog food. It's really not amazing, the smell of it anyway. That literally smells like opening up a can of dog food for your puppers. Probably tastes better than it smells, but we shall see in a second. Let's open up that mighty fine chocolate bar. These are some pretty decent dark chocolate bars. We're just going to get him out onto the tray. I have a feeling that after that dog food, that mystery meat, our taste buds might need a little retribution. So let us check out this rice porridge. Let's see if we can capture one of the 5 raisins that came in here. Take a look at that on the itty bitty baby spoon. That really does have milk powder in there, and it is really good. I mean, especially having added some sugar to it. It's just a really sweet, like breakfast kind of rice. It really just tastes like sweet rice with milk, maybe a tiny background flavor of vanilla. The raisin just disappears in it. I didn't taste a raisin at all. We're gonna go for another bite of that. This is really good. It's almost like a dessert, like a rice dessert item. It's certainly not bad at all. It could really benefit from any seasoning. You know, like some cinnamon, some nutmeg, some extra vanilla to give it a little bit more depth of flavor. But this is certainly a bunch of carbs, a bunch of sweet, tasty carbs. It's really not bad at all. This is actually a really yummy breakfast item. I just kind of wish there was more of it. So I'm certainly not complaining about it. It's really good. All right, let's clean the old palate with some of this vitamin drink here, yellow flavor. And I really, really enjoy the flavor of these drinks. It does have a hint of vitamin aftertaste, but what it has absolutely is a sweet, refreshing flavor. And it's very floral. It's the only way to describe it. It's almost like a sweet flower flavored drink. It really is a good drink. I really enjoy the drink mixes. They have real sugar in them. These are just solid, yummy drinks. Again, taste. Don't breathe while you're tasting it. Don't get a big sniff of it because you really get the vitamin B, definitely. It's still there. But this is just basically pleasant, sweet, refreshing, floral. It's actually really good. So let's go for some of the mystery meat. That looks like beef for what it's worth. I'm thinking with that pink interior, that's some beef. But it's pretty rough looking for sure. So let me give you guys a nice close up of that so I can drip some crazy meat juice on my face. That is, well, frankly, it's not really an appetizing looking piece of beef, but let's give it a taste. Really does smell like dog food. Okay, it looks like dog food, and it kind of tastes like dog food. A lot of the Russian mystery meats I've found to be really good. This one, I mean, get some of that mystery sauce on there. It really does kind of have a dog food taste to it. Maybe this would have been better warmed up. I don't think that would have killed the dog food taste completely. This is just definitely odd. Just odd meat product. I'm eating it anyway, but it's just odd looking. Well, there are some puppies out there, right, that really could have been eaten good, but I'm literally eating their lunch. Things I do for this hobby and this channel. Who am I kidding? I love this shit. And by that, I mean, I love this hobby. I love eating weird stuff. Not every day, obviously, but I love getting new things like this and giving them a try. And this whole mystery meat thing, it makes me giggle. I think it's pretty funny. I'm pretty sure the Russians wouldn't feed anything too hateful to their troops. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, a little bit of dog food is not going to kill me. Bottom line is, this hobby is a lot of fun. That's a big... It's like a meat booger. That's pretty much what it looks like. It looks like a big meat booger. I wonder how you say Alpo in Russian. I mean, that fatty sauce. We definitely got to check out this chocolate hazelnut spread. If I can get it open. Aha. Oh, man. All right, let's get some of this chocolate hazelnut spread out onto a stale Russian biscuit, which is a real shame that these are stale, because I'm sure this chocolate hazelnut spread would be epic on fresh biscuits. As a matter of fact, I know it is because I've had it on fresh biscuits before. But these things are stale as all get out. Let's give that chocolate hazelnut spread a day in court. This chocolate hazelnut spread is just like every other time I've had it. It's extremely sweet, very little hazelnut flavor, more just like a really, really sweet chocolate. It certainly isn't bad in any way, shape, or form. Definitely a nice sweet treat for breakfast. This chocolate spread is very reminiscent of the sweetness level you would find in the EL fudge cookie here in the US. Very sweet. Very chocolatey, almost no hazelnut flavor whatsoever. That's okay though. It's just a good sweet chocolate spread. And moving on to this fruit bar. I have had these before. These are always really good. Super thick, chewy, absolutely some nuts chilling in there. This is essentially just a pulped fruit with nuts and some oats and grains in there. I'm gonna give that a try. And that fruit bar is very good. Not overly sweet, which is great. Very chewy. All the nuts and grains in there are very soft and easy to chew. It tastes like the fruit base of this is somewhere between an apple and a pear, or maybe a combination of both. It doesn't have a strong fruit flavor in any particular direction that you can put a finger on. There's definitely, without a doubt, apples in here. Aside from that, I really couldn't tell. This fruit bar is definitely good mood food. Nice and chewy, sweet, satisfying. Not overly sweet like candy. Certainly a good morning item, at least in my opinion. This will definitely get you up and get you moving. We need a sip of this excellent coffee. Minus the cream, you dirty bitches. And the last item we are going to get a taste of for breakfast is this awesome Russian dark chocolate bar, which I happen to like quite a bit. I'm a dark chocolate fan, so these work really well for me. And that is definitely a good quality dark chocolate bar. A little on the sweet side for dark chocolate. I would say that's probably about 60%. I really don't mind it being on the sweet side because it's dark chocolate. It is a really good chocolate bar, especially for a Russian military ration. That's why I did put the caveat in there. Don't know if this is real chocolate or not, but it is really good. It's tasty. It's definitely dark chocolate. If you're a dark chocolate fan like I am, you'll really like this dark chocolate, even if it is a little on the sweet side. That is definitely good stuff. Well, guys, I'm going to finish up some stale biscuits, especially this guy because it's got the chocolate spread on top of it. Definitely going to eat that fruit bar. I will see you back here in 3 or 4 hours for lunch. I just burped up some stale Russian crackers. That's never a good thing. Oh, that's disgusting. But anyway, actually, that burp tastes like dog food and stale crackers. That is not an epic start to the day. This is one of the reasons why I don't eat breakfast. Okay, everybody, we are back with lunch. I am not ready for lunch, but I'm going to plow through it because that's what we do. We're going to have some cheese and some crackers. Maybe we'll get lucky, and the completely inconsistent Russian cracker thing will give us some not-so-stale crackers. Fingers crossed. We're going to have this wheat and meat porridge, which is what it translated to. We're going to have this not-so-excellent Russian pasta. Definitely want to get this eaten up for lunch. We're going to probably snack on a little chocolate bar. So I'm kind of keeping lunch a little on the lighter side. So I'm going to get this pasta cracking away in this flameless ration heater, which I have every confidence will actually work, which is always great. Unlike some other country that shall remain nameless, US. We're going to drop this. Before I even proceed, let me say that there's definitely a quality difference in Russian retort pouches and other countries in general. And by that I mean their retort pouches are much thinner. So I have a lot less confidence in Russian retort pouch tech, or at least the materials they're using to make the retort pouches. They're nowhere near as sturdy and as tough as a US or even a European retort pouch. These are kind of on the thin side, so that weirds me out just a little bit. They kind of almost have that pre-delaminated feeling, although they're not delaminating. That is one thing I can say about the Russian retort pouches. I'd much rather just have soft tins, but it is what it is. And just in general, speaking to the inconsistency of Russian rations in general, like not getting 2 coffees, only getting 1, not getting any creamer, which yes, I'm still butthurt about. And I do have to mention the stark lack of pate in this ration, although there is some really odd meat in here. Pate would have been nice. I'm pretty sure the soldier that got this ration would have appreciated some pate, but it was not to be with this menu option, and that kind of sucks. I've had a couple of comments talking about the inconsistencies with Russian rations, and that's certainly a real thing. Like, there are definitely inconsistencies as far as what you get each time in a Russian ration. And even, like, I've had the chocolate wrapped differently, although it's the same brand, it just appears very different. A lot of this stuff can change from time to time. Like, it used to be that the blue labeling on the crackers was more of a whole wheat cracker rather than a white flour cracker. But these are just standard white flour crackers with a blue label, so I don't think it really makes much of a difference to the Russians. Yeah, while we're waiting on that to explode, we get our yellow drink made. So this stuff I'm going to make right in the tray. And this is just a meat and buckwheat. Here we go with some exothermic reaction over here. But that is definitely taken off nice. So let's check out this meat and buckwheat. That looks really basic. It's like very small pieces of buckwheat. Some really I guess this is supposed to be meat, and that's a really tiny little meatball. So we're just going to rehydrate this right in the tray and check it out. I have a feeling that is going to suck up a good bit of water. So I really think I'm messy, but I don't think I added too much water. I'm just a mess. So I will try to keep my mess under control. There are no guarantees on this channel. Without a doubt, like the fact that I did not wear anything at breakfast is pretty amazing. So I didn't get anything on my shirt and I didn't get anything in my beard. So on this meal, all bets are off. You never know what's going to happen. There'll probably be some meat and buckwheat in my eyebrows by the time I'm done filming lunch. But hey, I mean, those are the breaks. That's just what you get when you do stuff like this, and you're a messy son of a bitch. And that's exactly what I am. When I'm talking and eating at the same time, or it's like talking, eating, and like, I don't know, mixing food, yeah, I just make a mess out of myself. But I guess that's part of what you come here for. That's the charm. That's the charm of Ration Nerd. He just makes an absolute mess out of himself. Yeah, no, probably not. Yeah, that's still pretty thick, and it's definitely soaking up that water. So we might have to hydrate that at least one more time. That was a pretty stingy exothermic reaction. Like, that didn't, well, maybe not, because that's pretty damn hot. So I take it back. The top of it isn't hot yet, but the sides of it where the steam was coming up is definitely hot. All right, I'm going to stop playing with my buckwheat and just let that hydrate a little bit. We are absolutely going to have to check out one of these really bad napkins to clean up the tray a little bit. Or maybe two. These are like a miniature version of like dollar store table napkins. These are really thin. Like when you fold these open, I'm pretty positive you can see the flesh tone of my hand through that napkin. At least I can. So these are pretty thin and chintzy. All right, let's check out this processed cheese, which this is very likely just your standard Russian processed cheese, which is actually pretty decent as far as processed canned cheese products go. We'll get our chocolate bar out onto the tray. I'm going to have to save a couple of these. I'm just not chucking down 5 chocolate bars in a day, so I guess I'm going to fall under the 5,000 calorie mark, which is okay because I'm not climbing a mountain today, nor am I living on one. So it'll be okay if I don't get 5,000 calories. Let's check out the condition of these crackers. All right, what does Russia have in store for me on the cracker front? Stale ass crackers. That's what Russia's got in store for me. Stale ass crackers. It is a shame, but unfortunately, it's not unexpected. They don't wrap these crackers really well. You know what? I'm starting to wonder if these crackers were ever fresh. Like, did they make them with stale flour or stale ingredients? And they just kind of come out of the oven stale after they're baked? I really don't know the answer to that question. I sure would like to know the answer to it, though, just for posterity. Because I'd like to know why there's so many stale Russian crackers versus fresh Russian crackers. Like, when I did that Sturm review, I was really shocked that the crackers were fresh. Because it's a low percentage of the time that you're going to get fresh crackers in a Russian ration, which is really a bummer, because these crackers, when they're fresh, I mean, they're plain, but they're actually really good. When you get them stale like this, unfortunately, it kind of changes the flavor of everything you eat with the crackers, because you get that stale, I don't know, if you were to take a regular plain flour cracker flavor, and this is a weird one, but stick with me for a second, the smell of a black magic marker, the smell of a black Sharpie. If you were to take a little bit of black magic marker Sharpie smell, ding, and add it to this cracker, that's what the stale flavor of these crackers reminds me of, is the way a black magic marker smells. And that's pretty disgusting, but I'm eating it anyway. It's kind of a bummer to waste this flameless ration heater on this Russian pasta, because I don't mean to spoil the review, but the last Russian mountain ration I had was this menu. So I know what that pasta's all about. I may or may not finish it. It's that kind of just ho-hum. It's not great. It's unfortunate that it's that way, but I know what I'm getting into. We're going to salt and pepper the hell out of it, and we're going to try to get through it. Maybe because of the absolute inconsistency of Russian rations, maybe that's going to be like the best pasta ever this time. I really hope that's the case. Not holding out a lot of hope though. And while we're waiting on that main to heat up, let's give this buckwheat and meat a try. So this is pretty much just like a savory porridge. Has some very small pieces of vegetables in it. The buckwheat is very finely ground. You can definitely see a good bit of seasoning in there. We're just going to go ahead and give that a bite. You know what? And this time around that I've added the appropriate amount of water, that actually turned out really good. It's not super salty. Has a really good taste to it. Actually, I'm really glad I had this side item with this main, because if that main sucks as bad as I think it's going to, this is definitely going to be the rock star of lunch. This amount of buckwheat, as finely ground as it is, that's really going to fill you up. That's actually a pretty cool ration item. There might not be a lot of real meat in it, or what meat there is very small and very tiny, but it is at least a tasty ration item. I'm going to give that pasta a little massage, get it all worked around inside of that pouch. That's naughty. You know what else is naughty is my complete lack of ability not to make a mess on the table. That's absolutely naughty. On to the cheese. Let's get some of this cheese whiz in a tin out. And as I said, this is definitely a processed cheese. It's just this side of spreadable, like you can kind of spread it, kind of not at the same time. It's a very soft cheese. Absolutely has a processed flavor to it. Check out that cheese. All right, let's get a bite of that. I've had this cheese before. However, in order to give you a proper reading, I'm going to have to get rid of that cracker flavor so I can accurately describe the cheese. All the cheese is doing at this point is kind of masking the taste of the cracker, but not completely. So it's hard to differentiate the taste of the cracker and the cheese. That's how stale these crackers are. Let me clean the old palette here for a second with some flour juice. That I completely forgot to mix up. That's fail sauce right there. All right, let me try to clean the palette now that I've actually put a little mix on that. So it is very soft, mostly kind of creamy, a little waxy so it doesn't spread. It's a very, very mild processed cheese. Very creamy, no bite to it at all whatsoever. No like aged cheese kind of flavor. It's absolutely a welcome addition to these stale crackers. If I don't finish this, I'm absolutely going to save it for dinner because I have 2 packs of stale crackers to get through for dinner, which is going to be a little tough. I'm going to pre-stage some chunks of cheese in there just so while I'm waiting for that main to heat up, I can scoop up some of this goodness out of here. This buckwheat and beef is a really excellent item. Like, this would be great camping food or hiking food. Like if you were going to stop for a long break, that would be an excellent food for hiking, camping, whatever. That buckwheat and beef is actually really yummy, really satisfying. I think we have waited for this main long enough. You know, what really sucks is the application of heat makes this retort packaging feel even more suspect, which that's never reassuring. So, yeah, check out that pasta. Not exactly appetizing. It is nice and hot though. That ration heater got it almost too hot for me to hold on to, which that's pretty awesome. That's a pretty awesome flameless ration heater. This pasta though, I mean, it kind of has the same smell from my morning portion of dog food. So it kind of has that dog food smell to it. As you can see, these noodles are super soft, like absolutely overcooked, which is exactly the way they were last time I had this item. And then this beef looks exactly the same as my, morning dog food pouch. There are just a little bit of carrots in here, and I don't really see much else in the way of vegetables or even seasoning. I was hoping to see some onions hanging around in there. If there are any onions in there, they have cooked down to nothing. These noodles are super mush, so I have a feeling this is going to be exactly the same as I experienced before. But you guys have not experienced, so let's do this together. Just me and you and, I don't know, a few hundred of our other ration-loving friends. And I hate to say it, that's just as bad as last time that I had it. If you were really hungry, and I mean really hungry, this would be kinda okay. You would have to be so hungry that you ate this so fast that you didn't taste it until you were just done chewing it. So the noodles are absolutely way overdone. They just kind of turn to paste in your mouth. And as much as I like fat content in a menu item, this has a really greasy feeling in your mouth. Even though this is perfectly heated, It's very warm. It's not super hot, but it's very warm enough to reincorporate any fat, and it just leaves like a coating of grease on the inside of your mouth. The meat tastes absolutely overcooked, and even in this wet state is has almost a dry mouthfeel to it. So as far as nutritionally, this may be great for somebody who's in a mountain environment and needs all those calories, but as far as a satisfying meal, this is far from that. This is greasy, hot, and just kind of angry. Like it's just there. You know, for being a ration, that's supposed to be like a Special Forces mountain ration. I do not envy the guy that has to get stuck with this item. Apparently Russians and pasta just don't go hand in hand. Sorry guys, like stick to rice, stick to buckwheat. Don't mess with pasta. You have absolutely no clue what you're doing. I really wish I could accurately explain the greasy feeling. You know, like imagine the consistency of like warm or like overly warm Vaseline in your face hole. That's what this feels like. I don't know what overly warm Vaseline feels like in my mouth for all those people that are going to ask me that question later. But I'm just trying to think of something to accurately describe what this tastes like. This is just unnecessary Russian roughness right here. And the answer to the question you're asking, why is he eating it? Because I paid for it, and I can. Who knows when I'm getting another Russian mountain ration, so I'm going to get all this warm Vaseline dog food pasta as I possibly can. That's about enough of that. Well, everyone, I am absolutely going to finish up that buckwheat. Maybe tickle my fancy with a little bit more cheese, and I'll absolutely smash that chocolate bar. But I'm going to leave that pasta alone because I just got the greasy feeling out of my mouth after having a few more bites of buckwheat and some biscuits. So I'm just going to leave that be. I will see you guys in 3 or 4 hours for dinner. I can only hope that you had something better for lunch than I did. Welcome back to dinner, everyone. I am trying to get excited for dinner. Not really feeling it all that much. This is kind of worrying me. This is probably going to be dry and funky, but let's get into it. So we've got some minced sausage. We've got this beef kasha with rice. We have this pearl barley soup. We have another one of these yummy drinks. We have some apple jam, a chocolate bar, some very likely stale ass crackers. I'm just not in the mood for tea, but we have it over here. I'm not going to need another 60 grams of sugar, so that is what it is. I'm going to hang on to a couple of these chocolate bars because they're always good to have laying around to munch on. So we have all these accessories over here that came with that we're not really getting into. But we are going to go ahead and we're going to get these two items because I feel like we probably will need the fat out of this minced sausage to make this rice doable. I could be wrong. I've been wrong on this rice before. The last time I had a beef kasha that came in a Russian retort pouch, it was very dry. So I'm a little worried about that. So I'm going to heat it up and then I'm going to add the minced sausage to it. If this is really dry, it'll add some fat to it, hopefully make it a lot more edible and a lot more tasty. And, you know, I'm not really in the mood for some minced dog food for dinner. So we'll put these two guys in the flameless ration heater. Then we'll get to making the soup. So we're going to go with the rice on one side of the heater and the minced sausage on the other. Hydrate this FRH a bit. Because one thing that the Americans could learn from the Russians is that even if your meal isn't all that great, it's always way better when it's hot. Get that drink made up. I am loving these drinks. This is one thing in the Russian ration that I really do enjoy. The cherry and this floral flavor, they're really good drink mixes. Alright, let's check out the integrity of these crackers. I'm feeling like I'm going to get gypped all the way around on crackers, but with Russian rations being so inconsistent, you never know. Nope, those are stale as hell. Oh well. What are you gonna do? I don't know how many more stale Russian crackers I can put down today, guys. I'm gonna give it hell. Let me put it to you that way. You know, and I've had some people pick bones with me in the comments, you know, well, it's not about a gourmet experience. Well, tell that to the soldier that is hiking through the mountains doing the bidding of their government and they can't even get a good meal out of the experience. Like, it's really demoralizing to be in a situation where the situation sucks and then you turn around and you get some sucky ass food to go with your sucky ass situation. So while we are waiting for our main to heat up, we're going to get into this pearl barley soup. All right. That kind of looks like oatmeal, but it's not, but it totally does. So I'm going to start with that much water, and then we will see what happens once this thing starts to hydrate. It is supposed to be a soup, so I don't want to make it super thick. That is a mistake I made with the last Russian Mountain ration that I ate before I started the channel, is that I mixed this stuff up really thick, and it was overly salty, so I didn't care for it a whole lot. I'm going to try to mix it a lot thinner this time. All right, and we are going to let that soup hydrate for a minute while we are waiting for the main to heat up, which is definitely happening over here, which is a really positive thing. Get a couple of these really stale crackers loaded up with some apple jam, because that is the only way I'm getting those crackers down, to be honest with you. I might be able to stick some of them in this soup and get rid of them, but otherwise, it's just that point in the day where stale Russian crackers are not really on the menu for me right now. I'm just feeling like, you know, eating another stale Russian cracker is the last thing I want to do right now. But to be fair, this apple butter, apple jam, whatever you want to call it, that comes in Russian rations, it's really good. I kind of feel like maybe that's the only fruit they have in Russia is apples. And yes, I am murdering these crackers with apple jam because I really don't want to taste the stale cracker. So we got a little diabetes cracker going on. That's okay. It really is, I promise. There's not a whole lot left of that jam after a couple of good teaspoon-sized portions on these crackers. So it's kind of sad. This apple jam is always really good. I normally save it for kind of like dessert, but since we're waiting on the main, we'll get a bite of this stale cracker with some excellent Russian jam on it. I gotta be honest with you, the stale crackers, especially at this point in the day, my third helping of stale crackers, is really killing the amazing taste of this apple jam. And it really kind of sucks. This apple jam is actually really good. It's one of the things in the ration that's a very peculiar, high-quality item. It's really amazing. I mean, look at the consistency of that stuff. How thick and gelatinous that is, which is totally a good thing. Really thick, amazing apple flavor. Just this cracker is just killing me. I'm just going to have the last of that right off the spoon. To hell with those crackers. In the meantime, let's check out this soup. That's not soup. That's like pudding. Well, we'll give it a shot. So this is kind of what I did to it last time, but last time it was way thicker. This is like a porridge, which, I don't know, let's give it a bite. Let's see if this is doable as is, or if it needs some more water to break it up. Let's just give it a shot. Why not? Take a look at that guy. I mean, it is kind of like a porridge, so give it a go. It's very salty, and the thing is that there are other seasonings going on in here, and I can't really put my finger on them because the salt taste is pretty overwhelming. I'm not really sure what to do with that. We definitely have some little freeze-dried bits of, I guess, beef floating around in there. You can see some carrots, maybe a mushroom or two, or maybe that's just other pieces of beef, but that really looks like a mushroom to me. That salt content is off the hook, though. Good God. I mean, that's like your entire daily allowance of salt in just this one. I'm picking up, on the other side of the salt, I'm picking up some bay leaf, definitely some pepper, and maybe even like a tiny little hint of dill. Maybe that's the salt making something else kind of have that dill aftertaste, but it's very much a background flavor. So stale cracker. This is really salty though, so maybe it'll either bury the taste of this cracker or it will accentuate it, and in which case I'm gonna cry a little bit. But if it buries the flavor, that'd be great. Oh, that's weird, really weird. The saltiness of this, it's kind of a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B when you add the cracker in the mix. At some points when you're chewing it, it accentuates the stale taste of that cracker, which is really hideous. And there's other times when you're chewing it that it buries the flavor of it's so weird. It's kind of like as you're chewing it, it's like, oh, super funky cracker, and then it's not there. And then super funky cracker, and then it's gone again. That's a really weird chew. I don't want to do that again. Definitely very odd. I'm still lamenting the fact that these damn things are so stale. It really sucks. All right, well, we have waited long enough. Let's get these guys out on the tray. See what we're working with in the kasha department. And that got crazy hot. That ration heater is great. I'm telling you what, like I said, if you're gonna have a relatively crappy meal, It's way better to have a relatively crappy meal really hot, and that ration heater certainly does the trick. Oh, it's super hot. That's good. Then we got that kasha out onto the tray. The meat in this kasha definitely has that little bit of a dog food smell to it. That kind of sucks. It's weird in the kasha how the beef has that slow cooked pink going on, but then it stains the rice. That always kind of trips me out a little bit. It's weird. Not really down with pink rice, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's weird. I could be wrong, but I didn't notice that with the tinned, like the soft tin kasha. I didn't notice that. So before we add the mystery meat that's still in the ration heater, we're going to give this a taste plain with nothing added. Get a little bit of that rice, a little bit of that a little bit of that meat. Give that a whirl. Nah, it's okay. It's not bad. It certainly needs flavor. It kind of has that mystery meat beef flavor. It's weird because a lot of the Russian beef items can be really good and really savory and just absolutely natural tasting, whereas this one kind of has that weird mystery meat flavor like the beef that we had earlier. So I'm not 100% sure exactly what's going on with that. I know I've had some Russian beef in entrees that has just knocked my socks off. It was absolutely amazing. This is not that beef. Since the flavor of that is not all that in a bag of chips, we're just going to keep on rolling with the craziness, and we're going to throw this, well, maybe not right in a dish. How about we put it out on the tray, see what we're working with first. Oh, that's really appetizing right there. Oh, that's not appetizing. Not even a little bit. It's just like that pouch just pooped on my tray. That is, this is supposed to be minced sausage. This looks like potted meat just in a bag. Wow, okay. I'm glad I didn't just dump that right into the kasha. Let me see if I can get you guys a good cross section of this. This just looks like a big unformed blob of bologna. It's really the way it looks. So it's like well, it says minced, it means minced. It's almost like a cheap lunch meat. Very processed. Let's give it a taste though. Oh my. I'm gonna have to be 100% honest. You know, whatever. We're just gonna chuck some of it in the kasha anyway, because I think this meal is kind of I don't know. This meal is kind of a wash. So you know what this tastes like? This tastes like a big ass Vienna sausage. It's more like a chicken Vienna sausage. Like if they made Vienna sausages out of chicken instead of pork. That's kind of what it tastes like. Very processed, not super salty, which is good because there's plenty of salt in that soup. But this is essentially like a big hunk of processed meat. Doesn't even really count as sausage, at least not on my planet, because it's so processed. It's just like meat pudding that's formed into this very odd, not so appealing shape. And it's very spongy, just like a Vienna sausage. Now, I'm not super crazy about Vienna sausages, so if you like Vienna sausages, you love this. This is just a big chicken Vienna sausage. Yeah, I had high hopes for this mountain ration. I really did. I'm feeling kind of bummed that it's kind of letting me down like this, and it's a real shame. This menu number 2 must be like the least popular ration in Russia, because this is the second menu number 2 that I've had in the mountain ration, so they must be just chucking them to get rid of them, because apparently nobody's real crazy about this menu if we can get it that easily here. And they're generally not that easy to get. Getting 2 menu number 2s in relatively rapid succession is kind of odd, really, because I didn't intentionally order menu number 2 last time, and that's the one I got. And this one is just the one that my buddy C had, and I didn't even question the menu number. I'm like, yep, I'll take it, because I want to do a mountain ration on the channel. So I was just instantaneously like, yes, give me that mountain ration. I was super excited about it. Now I'm down to the wire. I'm kind of feeling bummed about it. That's no good. But let's give this a whirl. We added some pepper, and we're just going to get a big old hunk of rice, some beef, some Vienna sausage, minced sausage, and give this a go. Honestly, that really just tastes like 2 different processed meats and some relatively mushy rice. There's a high fat content, so you can definitely feel that as everything's inside of your mouth, which is good. You know, you're going to need that fat content if you're really active, especially packing calories in these mains. So from a nutrition standpoint, right on. From a taste standpoint, not so great. We're going to try to work it out with some of this soup over here, which is what I've said with other rations. I like to use the soup as almost like a flavoring. So since this has barley in it, it wouldn't have worked out as something good to shake on, but in this form, this might just hook this whole thing up. It might just be a big salty mess. We're going to mix it up and give it a try, see if we can't save this whole thing. That's just attractive right there. Take a look at that mess. It almost kind of looks like a bird came by. No, I don't want to say that. That's what it looks like though. Anyway, let's give that a shot. You know, as ugly as that looks, because it really does look like a bird came by and left me a present, that makes the whole thing a lot more edible. You know, it's a bummer because I came into this a little hungry, but a little apprehensive after my, lunchtime experience and everything, and I was really hoping this would be one of the better kashas that I've had in the Russian ration. This certainly isn't it. I think the kasha that I had in just a standard Russian 24-hour ration, the big white star box, that was way better than this one, and it was tinned. The soft tins just generally seem to do better with these mains, and it's a real bummer. Like Russian retort pouches, not all that in a bag of chips. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And that's just a big, salty, processed food mess. That's really what it tastes like. And it really kind of stinks. Generally, I like Russian rations. I like some of the simpler foods with the higher fat contents. They generally taste better. Some of the Russian rations I've had were just off the hook, like really good. This one, especially considering this is supposed to be like a special forces style ration, has been kind of crappy. There's been certain items that have been really good, and then other items that are just like, wow, what were you guys thinking? Really inconsistent rations out of Russia, which is a bummer. Especially, I imagine it's a much bigger bummer for the soldiers than it is for this guy. I mean, it's got to be saying something about the main. If I'm sitting here, cutting up pieces of this processed mystery meat, chucking it on these absolutely stale crackers, and munching on this before I'm tucking into this kasha. And if you guys have watched any of my other reviews on Russian rations, they're all over the place. Some of the Russian rations are amazing and, just make me like, wow, why can't all rations be like this? And some of them are kind of like this mountain ration, just super inconsistent. And that really stinks, because when a Russian ration is good, it's really good. And when it's not good, it's really not good. And it's really odd to have that processed meat flavor in the beef that's in this kasha, because you can see the connective tissue still attached to that beef. So it's not super processed. It just certainly has a weird flavor. Maybe it's not beef, maybe it's horse or something, and that's what's making it taste so funny. I've never had horse. I mean, unless I've had horse and didn't know it, but it's just whatever it is. So whatever, not 100% sure what it is about this beef that makes it taste processed inside of this kasha, but it certainly does. I guess I gave the mystery meat and the soup and the jam a day in court with the crackers, and did find out that the mystery meat killed the taste of the funky crackers. I guess we'll just get a big old scoop, try to get a little bit of everybody rocking on this cracker to see if that kills the funk. That's a pretty crazy looking bite right there. Got a little dangler off the side. That's good stuff. This main, with everything combined in it, does an okay job hiding the stale flavor of these crackers. It would certainly be a way to get them past your taste buds and into your stomach. Haven't eaten a bunch of stale Russian crackers before, and I guess maybe I'm just not in the mood for it today, which is kind of a bummer, but that's how it goes. I've never gotten sick from eating stale Russian crackers. Never been any ill side effects, not even any stomach discomfort. It's just a taste. So if you can find a way to get these crackers past your taste buds, you can definitely get the calories out of them. And this is one of the points that I talk about. I'm pretty hungry at this point, but I'm just done with this. Now, I'm not climbing around in the mountains. I don't have to have these calories, obviously, but you don't ever want a soldier to get to a point where they just feel like, I'm done with this. I can't eat any more of this. It just doesn't taste good. I don't want it. So that's my issue with a ration like this. Everything needs to be completely edible, and this just isn't hitting the mark. So that is certainly an issue with these Russian rations. The guy's got to want to eat it to get the nutrition out of it. If you don't want to eat it, you're not getting 5,000 calories. You're getting whatever you can get past your taste buds. Free crackers available for pickup. I should put that on like Craigslist or something. God, could you imagine if I did put that on Craigslist, the response I would get to that ads? There's some weird goddamn people on Craigslist, let me tell you what. So we have our Russian chocolate. Always good. Always yummy. Of course I say that, and next thing you know I bite into this and it just like tastes like dog food, but we'll see. Nope, we lucked out. That chocolate was just fine. Well everyone, thanks for joining me for this Russian mountain ration. It was kind of a mixed bag. A lot of negatives, some positives. It was kind of a bummer. I was really looking forward to this Russian mountain ration. Really wanted to tuck into this and just really enjoy it. Unfortunately, the quality of the food just wasn't there. I wasn't able to enjoy it as much as I really thought I was going to. But hey, that's the ration game, and that is absolutely the Russian ration game. And if you guys appreciate what I'm doing on the channel, you could do me a giant favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, talk to me in the chat. It is always good to hear from you guys. To all my frequent flyers, you guys rock, you know who you are. You're the people who are always talking to me. You're a lot of fun. I appreciate you. So thank you for joining me here on Ration Nerd for this Russian mountain ration. If you find something better than this to eat in the meantime, you know what to do. Eat 'em up.
That's a wrap, bitches.